I don't believe in magical things, but I still believe in me. I no longer need the magic it seems, but I'm still in need of me. I'm growing in my understanding of all the things I need. And what it seems I need the most of is reciprocity. I need boundaries for my flowing. I need friction for my growth. I need my participation and my trust in how life goes. I need understanding. Help my understanding. I don't believe in magical things, but I still believe in me. I no longer need the magic it seems, but I'm still in need of me. I'm growing in my understanding of all the things I need. And what it seems I need the most of is reciprocity. I need boundaries for my flowing. I need friction for my growth. I need my participation and my trust in how life goes. I need understanding. Oh, I'm here for understanding. Ooh, life needs understanding. Help my understanding. Oh, I don't believe in magical things, but I still believe in me. I no longer need all the magic it seems, but I'm still in need of me. Oh, I'm growing in my understanding of all the things I need. And what it seems I need the most of is reciprocity. I don't believe in magical things, but I still believe in me. I no longer need the magic it seems, but I'm still in need of me.
All right, all right, all right. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Sunday Sessions. It is your weekly touch point for connection, community, and conversation. I want to welcome everybody who's joining us live on YouTube. You might be joining us from the global campus. You might even be watching at the local watch party. Welcome, welcome. And of course, you might be visiting us from the future, watching the replay. But in any case, however you found us, we're glad you're here. And of course, hoping that you're willing and able and ready to share our mission, which is to help people connect better, build better, and live better. And joining me today, I should have introduced myself. My name is Bob Swanson. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Mark, checking in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good morning, Mark.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning here in Fort Lauderdale. And so I just wanted to touch a little bit on our values, but also kind of wanted to connect these values to our conversation today. And the conversation is headcanon. The definition I have is that headcanon is the unofficial story that fans build in their minds to fill in gaps, explain contradictions, or make a fictional world feel more satisfying. And I just was noting that the same kind of story shows up in a lot of parts of our lives, and particularly in religious and ideological parts.
Right.
They take these fragments of traditions and emotional needs and present them as if they're the official story of reality, And
there's actually, I think it's kind of very pertinent to here, at least in the States, is the Independence Day weekend.
Yeah.
And how much filling in has been done of our own national history. What stories have we been listening to? Which ones resonate as far as what the country has been and what the country currently is and where the country is going? And so these are all.
So another take on this that I have is that headcanon represents humanity's audacious attempt to write its own interests into a shared story. And just to say that none of us are actually living the official story, but we need to build a life where meaning is chosen, grounded, and owned for ourselves. So bringing that back to values, we are a forward-thinking community, and no matter what path you find yourself on, your next phase should not be just disbelief, but that authorship. And we can't wait around for someone to write a better story for us to live in. We must recognize that life is a collaborative project, and we're actively shaping these stories to have true meaning within reality.
Nice.
We're people-centric. We're not just characters inside someone else's stories. And we all have our own fundamental right to embody our experience. Last one that we have is life-affirming. Life-affirming narratives do not require denial, fear, superstition, or authoritarian control to survive.
Yes. I'm glad you kind of mentioned superstition. I like to think that around here in Bridge City, we're declaring our independence from superstition and dogma. Because ultimately, the reason one of the main factors in Bridge City's why is that ultimately people matter. And we're not attempting to kind of pretend certainty. This is really a place for honest thinking and shared responsibility, intentional connection, and mature reflection. And a lot of perspectives are welcome here. You don't have to agree with everything to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, everybody brings their own story to the table, quite frankly,
right.
And we value what everybody brings. So with that, I'd like to welcome anybody who's here for the first time. In particular, we always want to make you feel welcome and know that your presence matters.
Yes, and if we do have a free gift, so we got a QR code on the screen there. Free gift for guests. This is not a sales pitch. It's really just kind of an effort toward hospitality. If you happen to stumble upon the stream, you have a chance to learn more about our community by checking out your free gift. Claim it whenever you're ready.
And also, I'd like to extend a welcome to our returning members. Always. We appreciate you being here, that our community is built intentionally by people like yourself showing up and being a part of the community.
And as Mark already sort of introduced, the theme for this July series is headcanon, which thankfully you did a great job of defining that for us, Mark. Because when I first saw this as our topic for the month, I was not that familiar. So you did a good job of framing it.
Actually,
you did your research better than I did.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what if people would like to chime in the chat. We'd like to hear what headcanon means to you. If you have some thoughts that you'd like to drop in, we'd love to see what you might have to say.
Yeah, and one thing I'll mention, because as I've learned more about headcanon, of course I can't help but think about my own personal experience and how, of course, I was raised in a pretty strict, devout household, and those certain stories that are you're kind of told, and you're told by authorities, and you kind of accept it as truth, and that becomes part of your narrative, and it can be quite difficult to untangle all that.
Yeah, and well, it's one of the things, when I was looking at some of this stuff, I was thinking about some of the stories in particular, like the stories we tell ourselves about hell, for example. That's always a good one.
Yes.
And most of the images that we have of this narrative don't even come from the Bible, quite frankly. They come from things like the Divine Comedy from Dante, the Apocalypse of Peter, these other stories. That's something I'm sure that we'll be talking about that some more later today.
Well, great. Well, let's transition into the news there real quick, Mark.
Sure. Well, welcome again. My name is Mark Russell. I just wanted to again just put out a little welcome to everybody.
Yeah, and just welcome everybody, and we're just so thrilled you're here. The community is stronger. I think we're stronger together. E pluribus unum. So we're glad you're here.
We'd like to invite you to visit the global campus. It's bridgecity.app/global campus. You can get to it via that QR code if you'd like, or if you're good at typing, you just type it in, I suppose. But it's a great place to just check things out, check out the lobby, and get started. Introduce yourself, check things out. We're always expanding the campus, and there are several places where you can get introduced. In our Welcome Center in particular, you can find some introductory materials and learn more about Bridge City.
Yeah, and there's a guiding hand. We have things called connection circles, so you get a chance to. You're not kind of on your own. You'll actually have a chance for a guided tour to get to know the community. And we also have things called small talks, where we have members that present on certain topics, and that is a great way to sort of learn get the temperature of the room, I suppose, and also get some personal development going on.
I need to schedule one of those for myself.
I'd scheduled one. I'm actually later this month. I'll be doing a thing like critical thinking, so looking forward to that.
Excellent.
If you've been a member and are perhaps interested in sharing Bridge City with other folks, consider hosting a watch party. Watch parties, they're pretty low key. It's really just a chance to have a small in-person gathering where several folks are watching a Sunday session together. And the nice part is that you'll immediately have a chance to have a conversation after the conversation, maybe even during the conversation. You might even heckle while it's going on, but or toss some ideas around. But that's a cool thing to do.
It's a good way to just start getting involved. Of course, just showing up here, of course, is useful as well.
We're going to move into another way of getting involved, which is clubs. We have some really cool clubs, including I must have gone. There we go. We were featuring 3 this week. We have an art club, we have a music club, and we have a production club. I can't draw a lick, so I'm not really that involved in the art club, but I do enjoy music, and I like to write music, and so I'm involved with the music club. Our member Jude she's the go-to, and she's the person who organizes songwriting sessions and that kind of stuff. And I'm also tangentially involved with the production club, where we kind of work behind the scenes to make this whole stream happen. Z is the heavy lifter on the production club.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and these are so we have a couple of different formats of these clubs. Some of them are like interest clubs, like art, music, books, things like that. And then there's other clubs like the production club, which is more about participation, like actually getting things done. Um, and so they're slightly different styles, but something that for everyone, I think, in this.
And speaking of getting stuff done, that's what we want to feature now, a brand new music video that was a kind of a collaboration between the art club and the music club and the production club. Are you ready for it, Mark?
Yeah, bring it on.
All right.
In a world full of irrational thinking and echo chambers, only the bridge builders can save the day, bringing us back to a shared reality based on truth and connection. Meet Fast Forward, bringing the future now. Meet Whimsy, fluttering to make new connections. And meet a Firmaman. Wait, is this really this guy's name? Really? Well, all right. Meet a Firmaman, doing whatever it is a Firmaman does. Together, they are the Bridge Builders.
Your story, look to the bridge builders, where Dogmatron hides, bridge builders fight. Your story is yours to write. Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free. Living the life you choose, don't be afraid to lose when misinformation and algorithm attack. Bridge builders got your back. Together we can do it. Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free. Your power's always been within. You have the strength to fight and win. There was never a such thing as sin. Why wait for your life to Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free.
Right. Yeah. So a big tip of the hat to go down to Z for the production on, but also Jude and for kind of coordinating the songwriting. There's
our sound effects.
and I love the fact that the Firmaman didn't get any color. That was a nice added touch or lack of added touch, which. So anybody who obviously a lot of members contributed to that. If you're a new member, you don't necessarily need to jump in and start contributing in the moment, but just see that that is a possibility. We're looking for more and more folks to get involved. But at the start, just kind of kick the tires and get a feel for the Bridge City community, and we certainly understand that joining a new community can be a little bit overwhelming for some folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I suggest is, like, when you do come in, if you go to the lobby, and then you'll find something called a welcome center. If you go to the welcome center, there's a new member area, and that's a good way to go and explore and to get more acquainted with Bridge City. It gives you the steps for starting, to say hello, to learn the campus, and onboarding. And if interest, also, of course, join the team.
Yes, our teams need more volunteers. So volunteering is important, and you just kind of ask yourself, what's one area of community building that you naturally care about, and then assess kind of your own strengths. Are you more of a behind the scenes person, or are you a people person? Are you a creative, an organizer? Perhaps just your support person. Whatever where your strength is, so there's certainly a role for you here at Bridge City.
So we have different areas. We have a member experience team, which helps to welcome and bring people in. Our multimedia team, which is obviously what is creating this event today. The missions and events team, which we are working to create meaning outside of just our little Bridge City area here, to out into the entire world at some, as we can in our abilities. We have a social arts team, which I think that it's sort of like the social arts is that the collaboration of the arts and the music and all that. Is that what?
Sounds good to me.
Operations team, and actually, your baby, as it were, the children and families team. So
yes. Which that's one of my things. So we will be having hopefully some upcoming events with the children and families team. So, well, want to remind folks, the second Tuesday of every month is Giving Tuesday. So obviously, any community needs material resources, and if we're going to continue to grow this community, we need financial support. So second Tuesdays of every month are an opportunity for you to contribute. We don't have tithes around here. There's no membership dues, that sort of thing. But certainly there's always a room for generosity, especially if it's a cause and a community that you find it has value.
Yeah, and of course, it should be only what you choose to give, and what makes sense. You can't be overextending yourself or anything like that. So, but we do ask that if you're able to help us out, we could use that. Always use that financial support. Let's just do a quick recap. Just like you to check things out, visit the global campus, explore a watch party, check out the clubs, welcome new members in, join one of the teams to get more involved, and if you can, if through your generosity, support through Giving Tuesday.
Awesome, and. All right, so we're kind of wrap things up here. We want to, of course, invite everyone to share the stream if possible. Share it on your social media, like and subscribe to the stream, and all that's left is for us to get the conversation rolling. So we're going to turn things back over to Darante.
Thank you so much, team. Welcome in, everybody. So glad to have you here for another Sunday session. We've been in a new series, man. This is our third weekend. It's called Canon, and I'm so glad that you decided to drop in on us today. Listen, if you're a guest, you've already heard our host say we have a gift for you, and that's it. It's a gift. It's our way of saying, hey, thank you for sharing your time with us this weekend. You literally could have been anywhere, and quite honestly, you probably are anywhere, but you're still choosing to share a little bit of your time with us here, and that just means the world to us. because here we're just building community around our shared humanity. And guess what? You just happen to be one of those humans. So go to the link on the screen and we have a gift waiting for you there. It is absolutely free. And then, like, I have to shout out Mark. I don't know if he's in the chat. He's also working out some new types of gifts that we can give you all for, not even just for our guests, but for everyone who's participating in our Sunday sessions. So that way you can take Sunday sessions with you when you leave. Also, as you're coming in, will you let us know where you're watching from? It's a small little ritual that we do around here. Don't let that word scare you. This just means this is something that we do habitually. You let us know where you're watching from, because for all you know, you could be watching with your neighbor. There could be somebody else in this chat that lives on your street. And then here y'all are wasting electricity by watching it over there and over there. Y'all could just be sharing that bill together. So let us know where you're watching from. Represent your city, your state. Bridge City is damn near everywhere, man. We're in Malaysia, we're in California, we're in Florida, we're in Australia, we're in Canada. Let us know where you're watching from so we can connect with you. And then also, let me ask you this. I rarely ask you this, but I have to ask you this because these sessions have been so great, especially since we've started adding the host to them and really being able to hear our host talk about the sessions afterwards. Man, it's been amazing. So I have to ask, did you invite somebody to join community with you this weekend? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Did you invite somebody to join you for community this weekend? And if you didn't, guess what? This is a great time to go ahead and watch this. Make the invitation. Just go ahead and invite somebody, and YouTube makes it so easy. You can literally just share it. Just wake somebody up and just go ahead and share it to their phones right now and say, hey, you need to be in here. If personal growth means something to you, if community means something to you, if connecting better without superstition, without dogma, without religion, or any of that jazz means something to you, then Bridge City is your place. You see, that's how you got to be with it. You just got to let them know. And then also, we've started something new. We got Chicago. So yeah, I think we're getting a nice little growing crowd in Chicago. We got Jackson, Mississippi. Bob, I hope you see that. Mississippi's in the house now. Yes. And then for those of you who are here, please feel free to join us immediately after today's Sunday session. We started something new this month called Coffee Hours, right? So right after the Sunday session, for those of you that want to continue the conversation, meet some of the people on our team, learn more about the community, and just dive deeper into these conversations that we're having, bringing your perspective to the table, then you want to join us immediately after this. We'll be sharing the link with you to join us, and it's over on the global campus. All right, so y'all, welcome back. Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay, see, Indiana, we that Indiana, Chicago area. Come on now, let's get in there. Let's get in there. Yes. Look at it. See, Jude is prepping for a whole presentation for a local group next week. Yes. Come on now. I love our community. I love our community. All right, y'all, let's jump into this. Welcome back to week 3 of Headcanon. And Headcanon has been our July series where we've been committed to claiming independence from inherited stories while reclaiming our stories within. And I love the way that Bob said it, because we opened this up on Independence Day weekend, what is traditionally known as Independence Day weekend in the U.S. And Bob said we're reclaiming our independence from superstition. And man, oh, that hit me. You know, I got to say it like my old Baptist self, in the city of my sanctified soul. Like I just loved it. So in this series so far, we opened up with week 1 called This Is My Story. And that's giving us all that reminder that regardless of who was here first, who was here before, regardless of all the stories that exist, if you are here, you have been invited to the table of co-authorship. Like I've been saying it all series long. If you were born, man, you were born into the writing room. Did you know that? That you were life, you know, that little dash between when you got here and when you leave, that dash is the writing room. So if you're going to be here, don't you dare let your life get overridden by somebody else's story. Write your story into this. And then last week, we explored villains with a conversation called Who's Bad? Oh, man. And if you missed that, we had a whole little Michael Jackson thing going on. It was real fun. It was real fun. No, trust me. It was fun. It was fun. Who's Bad? We're exploring how villains often evolve and emerge in our narratives. As we've stated all series long, In fandom, headcanon is not the official story. And so many of us are living off of headcanon, thinking that we're living off of the official story. On week one, I gave a perfect example of when Frederick Douglass gives his speech, what to the slave is the 4th of July. He gives this speech, and what he is exposing in this speech is the headcanon of American independence. He said, no, it's a nice story. Real, how they say, cute story, cool story, bro. Yeah, real nice story. But the truth of the matter is there are other perspectives that are being left out of the story. So this really isn't the official story. This is just headcanon. And headcanon is the story that fans build in their minds to fill gaps, explain contradictions, or make the world feel more satisfying. It's often the story we tell ourselves when the menu provided doesn't completely fulfill our appetites. You get there and you be like, man, like I see what's on the menu, but that's not everything that I wanted. I expected there to be some more. Like I shared one of my favorite shows at one point in my life was called Charmed. It was about these 3 witches. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess 4 witches because Paige came on later. But in Charmed, they had this dude named Cole. He was half demon and he was half human, and he was just like the coolest dude ever. And then they end up writing him off. The actor that played him died recently. Broke my heart because I thought he was an incredible actor, but he died recently. But my headcanon was because the story, watch this, the story wasn't satisfying for me. They got rid of somebody that I really wanted to stay in the story. So in my headcanon, I wrote bruh back in the story. Nah, he's still here. He's still here for me. So this is what we're kind of running through today. Now, this weekend, this is week 3. This weekend, we're exploring how perspective shapes our perception. Perspective shapes perception by influencing what we notice, how we interpret it, and what meaning we assign to it. Our experiences, expectations, emotions, knowledge, and social position act like a lens, causing different people to experience the same situation in different ways. Can you sit with that? Different people are experiencing the same situation in different ways. Can you sit in that reality? I see you looking at me all cross-eyed and stuff. No, let's talk about it now. Can you sit in the reality that different people tend to experience the same situation in different ways? That is a part of our humanity. It is a part of our shared reality. To front load the big point before we even get started, what I'm really trying to say is that perception, as much as you think it is, perception is not passive. Okay, like if you're a note taker, that's a great spot for you to write something down. Perception, it's not passive. Okay, how someone experiences a situation affects how they feel, what they believe is happening, what choices appear available, and how they respond. So that means people do not merely possess different perspectives, they behave as though they are living in different worlds. Watch this, because experientially, they are. Experientially, we are living in different worlds. We live in a shared reality, but none of us experience that reality in exactly the same way. Oh, no. You're going to sit in that, damn it. You're going to sit in that, because I think a lot of the harm that we cause ourselves and to others come from the misunderstanding that we're sharing this reality, but we're not sharing this experience. We live in a shared reality, but none of us experience that reality in exactly the same way. I got to quote one of our members, Julian Gibson. You've got to go check out his YouTube channel at Party Wolf Media. Bruh man said, and I almost fell out my chair when I heard him say it. He said, we all live in our own mental multiverse. That's what Julian said. Julian said that. I didn't say it. Don't be looking at me like that. Go find him. Go find his page and subscribe to him and tell him how you feel about it. Because I'm not the one said it. He said it. I just agreed with it. We all live in our own mental multiverse. When you see life differently, you live it differently. Come on now, you've lived long enough to have some friends where y'all have been through some things together, and you kind of look around. By the way, that's the link to his channel right there. Go ahead and check that thing out. I told you we ain't playing with you. And by the way, it's also in the description of the video, just to make it easy for you. But surely you have had some friends in your life where you could not figure out Why in the world are you making these decisions? Why are you doing this? And in most cases, it's because even though we're sharing reality, we're not sharing the experience. And so when you see life differently, you live it differently. You do. You live life the way you live it because you see life the way you see it. And I once had to teach myself that in order to create a different world, you got to see the world differently. Yeah. In order to create a different world, you got to be willing to see the world differently. Okay, let's jump. The multiverse, for the sake of this conversation, is the collection of different experiential worlds people construct while occupying the same physical and social world. Those worlds are shaped by biology, memory, knowledge, emotion, social experience, attention, expectation, and personal history, which is why it is so hard to change other people's minds, because you can't just change somebody's mind without changing their life. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. I'm walking too deep. Okay, let's go. Let me say that one more again. You can't change somebody's mind if you're not willing to change their life. Y'all better talk to me, because when you out there arguing with somebody and you think you're arguing with logic, you think you're wrestling with critical thinking, but what you're really wrestling with is biology. What you're really working against is memory and knowledge and emotion and social experience that you don't have any access to, because even though we're sharing reality, we're not sharing the same experience. All right. So I think this is a great place for me to go ahead and drop today's title. If you didn't know already, we're talking about the multiverse of madness today. Now, listen, if you're not bougie, go ahead and type that in the chat. It's real easy. You're not going to lose nothing by typing in the chat. You ain't got to pay nothing to type it in the chat. Just type it in the chat. Show a little love for the algorithm, and for other people who can't see it on the screens, they can see it in the chat. Just type multiverse of madness. And I ain't talking about Doctor Strange. You feel me? Okay. Multiverse. Oh, I love this. Multiverse of madness. This is what we're dealing with. Let's start with a sobering confession. And this one might hit you in the gut. Humans, that includes you, by the way, didn't evolve to perceive reality. Did you know that? Man, y'all are excellent today. I feel like we have one of the best communities on this side of planet Earth. You feel me? No, humans didn't evolve to perceive reality. I know you feel like you got your, like you really got it, but no, humans did not evolve to perceive reality. I'm going to make this make sense, but I just got to make sure that it's sitting where it needs to sit. Next month, we're starting a new series called Sit in It. You're practicing now. You're practicing right now. I want you to sit in that. You didn't evolve to perceive reality. Now, I get it. We've come a long way and we've learned a lot of things. And at times we really feel that we have our finger on the pulse of things, but the facts seem to indicate that we're still just scratching the surface of reality as we are capable of understanding it. We're not as far out of Plato's cave as we'd like to assume. And for those of you that are not familiar with Plato's cave, in the allegory, Plato describes people who have spent their entire lives chained by their necks and ankles in front of an inner wall with a view of the empty outer wall of the cave. Now, they observe the shadows projected onto the outer wall by objects carried behind the inner wall by people who are invisible to the chained prisoners and who walk along the inner wall with the fire behind them. I'm gonna make this make sense in a minute. You just keep on rolling with your boy. Trust me. And then that's creating the shadows on the outer wall in front of the prisoners. Now, the sign bearers pronounce the names of the objects, the sounds of which are reflected near the shadows and are understood by the prisoners as if they were coming from the shadows themselves. Now, the big point of this part right here is that most of us, this is why I say we're not as far out of the cave as we think we are. Most of us have spent our whole lives in the caves of religion and superstition and culture and false beliefs and false ideologies. You just 2 seconds out of the cave and you already think you got the best view in the world. Now look at yourself. Your eyes ain't even adjusted to what you're seeing yet, and you already think you have the better view. Watch this. Only the shadows and the sounds are the prisoner's reality, which are not accurate representations of the real world. The shadows represent distorted and blurred copies of reality that we can perceive through our senses, while the objects under the sun represent the true forms of objects that we can only perceive through reason. See, and ultimately, this parable, this allegory, if you will, is ultimately about the effect of education and the lack of it on our nature. The opening song that we had this morning said, I don't believe in magical things, but I still believe in me. I no longer need the magic, it seems, but I'm still in need in me. And what it seems I need the most of is reciprocity. I need understanding. See, no, I can no longer afford just to go off of my senses, what I feel, how I see it. What I've learned thus far is that my eyes are good. My eyes are good. I mean, they okay. I wouldn't need these big old bifocals if they were that good, but they good enough with the assistance of these glasses. But my eyes are good, but my eyes are not good enough to perceive reality as reality exists. And this is why we need stethoscopes and telescopes and microscopes, because my senses can only go so far. So I have to use reason to interrogate. All right. I hope y'all ready. I told you I was gonna drop it home. I'm gonna make it sense. I'm gonna make it make sense. I'm not gonna leave you where I left you. You feel me? No, humans evolved to perceive enough of the world to survive and function, not to experience reality in its complete unfiltered form. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm actually trying to set you free. You should actually give yourself a little more grace. You should actually give yourself a little more understanding that, like, nah, it's probably a likelihood that I don't see everything that I need to see. You beating yourself up. You're beating yourself up for things that are beyond your evolutionary capacity. Our senses capture limited information, and our brains simplify and organize it into a useful mental representation. So our senses and brains were shaped primarily to help us survive and act, not to reveal the world exactly as it exists in itself. Okay. The big point is, we do not experience reality in its totality. I know you feel special, but we do not experience reality in its totality. We experience a filtered, simplified, usable version of it. Our eyes register only a narrow range of light. Our ears detect only certain frequency. Our brains then organize that limited information into recognizable objects, threats, opportunities, people, patterns, and meanings. So when you see a tree, I'm talking about you, when you see a tree, whatever kind of tree you looking at, you can be looking at tall trees, you can be looking at little short trees, you can be looking at trees that have been dried out and hung upside down and cured a little bit, and then, put them in a little pot so they can get some air and get cured the right way you need to. Then you just roll them out on a little leaf. Okay, I don't went a little too far. Let me come back. So whatever it is, when you look at a tree, you do not perceive everything the tree is. Its molecular structure, chemical exchanges, internal activity, evolutionary history, or every wavelength it reflects. You perceive tree, which is a practical mental representation that helps you navigate the environment. Now, evolutionary game theory and computer simulations by cognitive science like Donald Hoffman, if you're looking for somebody to check out Donald Hoffman, Donald H. Donald Hoffman demonstrates that organisms prioritizing truth, seeing the world as it really is, are outcompeted by those focusing purely on fitness. That's a very uncomfortable truth. That's a very uncomfortable truth. For all of my truth seekers out there, let's sit in that for a moment. Now, I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying this is what they said. Now, I'm just sharing what Donald Hoffman said, what these game theory and computer simulation and cognitive scientists are saying. They're saying that the organisms that prioritize truth are outcompeted by those focusing on fitness, knowing how to react to survive. Basically, if your ancestors stopped to perceive the intricate atomic structure of a tree rather than just seeing a physical barrier, they likely wouldn't have survived. That's uncomfortable, isn't it? Because right now, what we want to do, we want to get as close to truth as possible, but there's an uncomfortable relationship with truth. And that is, I need time for this, okay? I need safety for this. Evolution rewards useful perception, not necessarily complete perception. An organism only needs to notice what helps it find food, avoid danger, reproduce, cooperate, and move through its surroundings. Information that does not assist those functions do not get prioritized in conscious experience. Can I help you real quick? For some of you trying to help your friends deconvert and trying to help your friends deconstruct, and you're like, I don't understand why they are not prioritizing the information I'm showing them. I'm showing them the contradictions. I'm showing them how this could not possibly be true. But what you may not realize is that what gets prioritized in their conscious experience is not your contradictions, it's their survival, which is why I've often said that mind change happens on a spectrum of safety. If you can demonstrate to me that I will be safer than I am now, then you have a better chance of getting me. Because the answers that they're looking for, is this going to help me find food? Is this going to help me eat? Is this going to help me avoid danger? Is this going to keep me safe? Is this going to help me reproduce, help me grow? Is this going to help me cooperate? If not, I don't know why you're talking to me. I'm just telling you what some of them are thinking in their heads when you trying your best, thinking that you helping. They trying to figure out, why is you talking to me? Like, what do I win if you win? Have you ever thought about that? Nah. What do I win if you win? If I decide, hey, you right. Religion is crazy. God, I don't even know how people believe in that. Which part of that improves my chances of survival? That's what you're wrestling up against. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's reality. This is where we are. And so ultimately, this means that our perception is selective rather than complete. It is functional rather than exhaustive. It is constructed rather than passively recorded. It is oriented toward relevance rather than total truth. This is why two people can inhabit the same environment and experience it absolutely differently, because their minds are not neutral cameras. I know we like to feel that way, but that's just not how it is. They are selecting, organizing, and interpreting information according to what their biology and experience have taught them to notice. So what appears obvious to us may be only the version of reality our minds are equipped, or conditioned to render. Have you ever thought about maybe you see things a certain way because you've been conditioned to see things a certain way? Have you ever thought about that maybe you experience things a certain way because this is the only way you've equipped yourself to experience things? Okay, now let's talk about it, because if we're going to be better, we've got to be better. And oftentimes I tell people, you're not willing to do better until you're willing to do different. And what I'm hoping that this headcanon series empowers us all to do, and I'm preaching to the choir, I'm talking to myself too, is to slow down and do different. Okay. Perception varies because everyone's brain interprets the exact same sensory input differently based on their unique background, experiences, and biology. No, that happens. That happens. I wonder, and this isn't in my notes, but I just want to ask this question. I got some more questions, but this one is not in my notes. But I want to ask you this. When you're at home, if you hear a bunch of pickup trucks coming down the street, just hear a bunch of pickup trucks, what feeling does it give you? What feeling? No, you at home. I'm about to show you something. You at home, you hear a bunch of pickup trucks coming down the street. What feeling does it give you? For some of you, it won't even be a thought in your head. For others of you, it might be, oh snap, it must be game week. This must be what they call it, tailgating time. You know, I've never really been into sports. I just got to be honest and tell the truth. But for me, when I hear it, if I'm at home and I hear a bunch of pickup trucks coming down the street, let me show you how my biology, how my memory, how my lived experience impacts what I'm hearing. When I hear a bunch of pickup trucks coming down the street, I hear the South is about to rise again. No, I'm telling you that. Now listen, I'm not trying to get you to feel bad for me. I'm not trying to get you to say, oh, dang, poor Darante, black dude in the South. I'm trying to show you how differently we experience things, even when they are minor. Yeah, because our perception shapes our perspective. Okay. See, I grew up on movies like A Time to Kill. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. So I got my first point of this weekend. Are y'all ready for it? I'm gonna give you half of it. You're gonna have to listen for the second half. Your perception shapes your life. This is so true. Your perception shapes your life. But it's the second part, and you're gonna have to write it down because I ain't gonna put it in front of you. We're not gonna baby you all the dang time. Now, come on now. You gotta listen what your grown folks is this morning. Your perception shapes your life. Watch this, but it does not define reality. Woo! Woo! It is one of my favorites too. Yes, I think they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. Come on, Samuel L. Jackson. Your perception shapes your life, but it does not define reality. I get that when I hear the pickup trucks coming down the road. I get that my perception is shaping my life. My blood pressure is going up because of my perception, but my perception does not necessarily define reality. It could be getting ready to happen, but I have not interrogated it to come to that conclusion. Perception is how you interpret and make sense of the world. You know? Perception is how you interpret and make sense of the world. Reality is the objective state of things as they actually exist, independent of human observation. With or without you, this is what it is. You brought some extra stuff to the table. Yes, I bring some extra stuff to the table as an African American living in the South with my lived experience growing up in the crack epidemic with no solid mother or father. I bring some things to the table based off of my lived experience, where there are things that may be offensive. There are things that may be offensive to me that may not be offensive to you. There are things that may harm me in ways or trigger me in ways that may not trigger you. And by the same way, I have to be humble enough to recognize that other people are also impacted by their lived experiences. And so things that don't trigger me may actually trigger them. You know, for example, like I still love gospel music. I love it. I love it. When we were in California last year with our crew, we were hanging out and the party was good. And I think we were listening to Beyonce, and then we were listening to the Temptations, and then we listened to some other stuff. And then all of a sudden somebody said, I think I want to listen to Fred Hammond. And I said, wait a minute. I love Fred Hammond, man. No weapon formed against me. I love it all. I love Fred Hammond, man. I'm a big fan of gospel music. I grew up in it. It wasn't just a part of my religion. It was a part of my culture. It was a part of my identity. But I realized that other people are triggered by that. So we had to stop and say, wait a minute, before we move forward, is this going to trigger anybody? Because I realize my perception shapes my life, but it does not define reality for anybody else. Because even though we have a shared reality, we don't always have shared experiences. So while objective reality remains constant, our perception is highly subjective, shaped by our past experiences, emotions, knowledge, and even physical or cognitive limitations. So here's a good point. None of us show up to the table of life neutral. I don't care how good you think you are. None of us show up to the table of life neutral. I don't care how considerate you think you are. None of us show up to the table of life neutral. What is normative to you is often subjective to your lived experience. What feels normal, reasonable, or the way things are is often shaped by your upbringing, culture, environment, and personal experiences, not by a universal standard everyone shares. So let me go ahead and knock you off your high horse real quick. Can I knock you off your high horse and then step on your toes a little bit? You are not big enough. You are not big enough to know the way things are everywhere all at once. No, you're not that big. Who you think you is, player? You can't see everything. No, simmer down, young whippersnapper. You're not that big. Get that weight off your shoulders. Y'all didn't see that coming, did you? No, get that. Take that weight off your shoulders. You're not big enough to perceive things as the way they are, just the way you do. Okay? This is not normal, is not a universal standard that everyone shares. Well, that's just not normal for them to do that. Excuse me for a moment. Well, who the fuck is you? I'm sorry. I just had to go there for a moment. Like, no, you're not big enough to be able to define what is normal for all of us. People bring accumulated experiences with them. Their previous encounters shape what they notice, expect, fear, trust, dismiss, or interpret as significant. Your trauma many times impacts your situational awareness. If you have someone who has been heavily involved in military combat, they sit in a restaurant differently than you sit in a restaurant, because the trauma of warfare has impacted, maybe even upgraded their situational awareness. Yeah. See, you sit in, you don't care if your back is to the door. But they said, no, I gotta have my eyes on the doorway. All right. Now you walk in, that's not even important to you. It's not on your mind. And let's be honest, nothing is probably going to happen. But the truth of the matter is, you didn't experience anything in your life that upgrades your situational awareness to be looking for those flags. Okay. Listen, y'all slow, but you worth waiting on. I love you. Let's go. The phrase perception is reality. Perception is reality. You've heard it. The phrase perception is reality is true in the sense that your perception dictates your behavior, your feelings, and your reactions. However, it is fundamentally flawed because one person's perception rarely matches another. And this leads to conflict when individuals treat their subjective worldview as absolute truth or the declared norm. I don't argue with people about their subjective worldviews. I don't want to dishonor your pain that way. Oh, can you handle this? Can you disagree with people without dishonoring them? Who is tight? Can you disagree with people without dishonoring them? Oh my goodness. Let's go there. Can you? No. I disagree. I don't think that's what I did. I don't think that's what I meant, but I will not dishonor you. I disagree. We're going to go there. We're going there. A perception may govern someone's emotions and behavior, even when it does not accurately represent the situation. Okay. This is why we have to be very, very mindful. Very mindful. We can sincerely feel rejected, threatened, disrespected, ignored, or judged. That experience is real as an experience. If you are a sister who grew up in the South and your family has taught you over and over again that a sign of respect is someone opening the door for you, and then you go to the grocery store one day, or maybe you walk in, because now all the doors are automated, so they just have made that. So maybe you go into the doctor's office, they're not automated there. So you go into the doctor's office and there's a gentleman walking ahead of you, and he opens the door for himself and then just lets it go, and you just a few feet behind him. If you were raised in an environment, in a culture, conditioned, if you will, to believe that someone holding the door for me is a sign of respect, you are likely going to feel disrespected if the person in front of you did not hold the door for you. And I know y'all think this is probably just like, nah, nobody gonna feel like that. You have not met my sister, okay? Because she gonna have a whole fit. You didn't hold it down. No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's about to be a problem. No, the person is going to feel likely disrespected, and that experience is real as an experience, but your perception shapes your life, but it does not define reality, because there's several things you don't know. You don't know if that person saw you. You don't know if that person was raised in a culture where holding a door for someone of the opposite sex is considered infantilizing. Now let's go there. Come on now. No, there's so many things that you do not know. And this is one thing that bothers me with the way that we do humanity now. We give ourselves permission to know things we ain't even tried to know. But it's because that experience feels so real. That experience feels so real. I cannot believe they didn't open the door for me. That experience feels so real, but what you're doing at that moment is you are taking your norm and making it everybody's norm without conversation. Like one of the things that's the most uncomfortable thing for me in the world, it will cause me to leave a room, is if I am sharing a room with other people and the we word starts being used where conversation has not existed. Well, we all think this, where we all believe this. Oh no, I think I gotta go. I think I'm in the wrong room because nobody knows what I think without talking to me. Okay. So listen, we can sincerely feel rejected, threatened, disrespected, ignored, or judged, and that experience is real as an experience. But our explanation of what occurred may still be incomplete or mistaken. Can you sit in that humility? Can you remind yourself that you don't know it all and then sit in that discomfort? We have to be careful of falling into the trap of moving from this is how I experienced it to therefore this is unquestionably what happened. But see, distorted perception does not only cause us to see situations as worse than they are. I don't want to just leave you on that side. It can also cause us to see people, opportunities, and claims as better, safer, or more trustworthy than they are. Hope, attraction, admiration, desperation, and the desire to believe can make us overlook warning signs, excuse contradictions, and become vulnerable to scams, manipulations, and lies. Stress, fatigue, fear, anger, excitement, and other emotional conditions can intensify certain features while obscuring others. Sometimes we exaggerate the danger. Sometimes we underestimate the danger. But in both cases, our perception may be sincere without being accurate. And that's a truth that we all got to learn how to get comfortable with. Yes, you can be sincere and still be wrong. As a matter of fact, you should be used to it by now. This can't be your first time being sincerely wrong. You are a professional at being sincerely wrong. You could lead a masterclass at this moment in being sincerely wrong. You were sincerely wrong about Bobby. You were sincerely wrong about Jackie. Don't make me go down the list. We should all be used to being sincerely wrong and learning how to sit in that humility and say, oh, now before I do this again, let me check myself. The problem is not simply that people think badly. It's that no individual perspective automatically contains the entire situation. We have to be very careful not to confuse our intelligence with omniscience. So watch this. Watch this. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I got a little thing that I want to do here. And so I'm going to show you a picture. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. I'm just going to show you a picture. And we're going to talk about this picture. And I just want you to tell me, what do you see? Just in the chat. Go ahead. Tell me what you see in the chat. I'll attach a poll question if you need me to. But before we even get to the poll, I want you to tell me, what do you see in this picture? What does this image make you feel? Did your blood pressure go up? Did it go down? What did you feel? Do you need to squint? Talk to me. Let's talk about this image that is on the screen right now. What is this image? What are you looking at? What's going on here? We're talking about perception. What are you seeing in this image? You have to get used to not seeing me for a while because I got to keep this image up. Looks like a whole bunch of nope. That has to be in a Tyler Perry play or something because that is so dang funny. Like, yeah. What do you see? Yeah. Okay. The French being French. I love that. I don't know if I can laugh at it, but it's funny. I love it. I love it. All right. So now I'm going to add a poll. I'm going to add a poll. The poll is up. Which one is it? Is this a protest? Is this a party? Or is this something else? And remember, for those of you, if you've never participated in one of our polls before, you correspond by typing the number that corresponds with the answer. So if you believe this is a protest, put 1. If you believe it's a party, put 2. If you believe it's something else entirely, put 3. Let's see here. Let's see here. Come on now. There we go. There we go. We're getting some conversation. We're getting some movement. We're getting some movement going on. We're oscillating between between 2 and 3, excuse me. Oh, we got one that came in at once. So now we got all 3 on the board. I want to get a few more votes in because we got 43 people watching right now. So I'm gonna need the rest of you 40 who ain't voted yet. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and put your vote in now. Don't you be here and not be participating now. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Put your vote in. I'm loving this. Look at here. Look at here. It's a crowd I know not for what. So, come on now. I love this. Okay. I think we got some good votes in. So, okay. I'm having to lean in to look at them because my eyes do what my eyes do. But we're going to talk about it. So we got like 25% who says it's a protest. 25% said this is a protest. We have 43% that says it's a party. And we have 29% that said it's something else. I want to let everybody know who said that it is a party. You were the closest to the right answer. This is a celebration. But do you see how easily it is to confuse one with the other when you do not have the context? We're gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep rolling. Not enough info. Yes. Come on now. All right. So let me take this poll down. I'm gonna stop this poll, and then we're gonna move on to the next image. Similar image, and I'm gonna put up the other poll. I want to give you some time to look at it first before I add the poll. Give you some time to look at it. Yeah. Yep. And now I'm going to throw up our poll for this one. All right. And it's the same question. Which one is it? And you can see I was so lazy with this one, I just duplicated it. And that's why the word copy is there. Don't hate the player, hate the game, and how tired it's making me. All right. Yeah. So which one is it? Is this one a protest? Is this one a party? Or is this one something else? Which one is it? Oh yeah, I love y'all, man. Thank y'all so much just for participating. I'd be nervous when we do these. I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna respond to these, but y'all are in here, and I think, I could be wrong, I think you're participating because this helps us grow. I think this helps us do better. I think this helps us move better. I think this helps us slow down before jumping to conclusions. Oh, that is hilarious. All right, so I'm coming back. We've had time to take in the image. And I'm going to say again that for those who voted for number 2, it's a party. You're absolutely correct. It's a celebration. But it looks so much like a protest or something else. But then even when we get it right, we didn't get it right because we're so good. Come on now. This is it. You know, a broken clock is right twice a day. We didn't get it right because we're so good. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But we didn't get it right because we're so good. We got it right because it was one of the options available. Right? What was missing is context. And I know we're going to be having the Politics Club at Bridge City is going to be hosting a media literacy talk. And like, if you're not on the global campus and if you're not getting alerts for events, you need to be on that, because that media literacy talk is probably going to be one of the most important events that we've done, because people know how to get your emotions. All right. So I got one more. This one is not a picture. This next one, let me take my poll down for now. This next one is not a picture, but it's all the same point. This is a quote. This is a quote, or could be a quote. And I just want you to read it real quick before I put up the poll. I want you to read it. You see, our influence is always stronger when we lead by example. We can't exempt ourselves from the rules that apply to everybody else. That's not leadership. That's retreat. All right. I'm going to get ready to throw up the poll. Lots of phones out too. I love that. All right. What are y'all feeling with this? The poll is coming up now. Is this human? Is this AI? Or is this not enough info? Be honest. Like, ain't nobody going to beat you up for getting the wrong answer. This only works when we're honest. What is it? I should have did this one first, huh? Which one is it? We got, come on, only one person? You're thinking about it, aren't you? You're thinking really hard. You see, our influence is always stronger when we lead by example. We can't exempt ourselves from the rules that apply to everybody else. That's not leadership. That's retreat. Is this human? Is this AI? Or is it not enough info? It's a hard one, ain't it? Because I see y'all bouncing on this one. Come on, let's get some more votes in here. Be honest. Like, listen, like I don't, like, I'm not gonna beat you up. I don't even know you like that. This is something to help us all. I love this. I'm so loving these answers. Okay. All right. Yes. What's up, Dale? What's up? All right. So we're getting these answers in here. Okay. So we have 47% at human. We have 26%, 25% at AI, and 25% at not enough info. Now, if you would, just share with the chat why you chose your answer. Why, if you said it was human, why do you think it's human? If you said it was AI, why do you think it's AI? And if you said it's not enough info, why do you not have enough info? Oh, man. Oh, I gotta get out of here. That's old preacher talk right there. We tune up in the old churches. Yeah. I love it. All right, maybe if I say it this way. You see, our influence is always stronger when we lead by example. We can't exempt ourselves from the rules that apply to everybody else. That's not leadership. That's retreat. Do you know this is actually from a 2014 speech before the advent of AI as we know it today? This is a 2014 speech from former President Barack Obama to, let me make sure I get my information right, during his commencement address at the United States Military Academy at West Point on May 28th, 2014. Now, I made one change to the speech just to make sure that you couldn't catch it, and that in the speech it says, you see, our American influence is always stronger when we lead by example. That just would have been too much of a giveaway, so I took that out. Oh, man. So this is, now, why, for the people who thought it was AI, you probably thought for the same reason I did, right? Because it uses a rhetorical device that AI commonly uses. But the problem is AI is not really artificial intelligence. It is a language learning model. So every rhetorical device that AI is using is absolutely a human rhetorical device. And what we're often leaning ourselves over into is what I like to call the red car syndrome. Not that you done got your new shiny red car. You feel like everybody got red cars now. You're like, oh man, there's a red car everywhere. But the only correct answer here, not correct answers, all the answers are correct. The only appropriate answer here is not enough info. Not enough info. Woo. This was good, right? Obama and AI the same thing. I am not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. Oh man. All right, so I'm gonna take that down. I think I can take my poll down now. Let me find my poll. Bam. All right. So now listen. Did y'all learn something from this little experiment? Did you learn something? Our perception shapes our life, but it is not enough to define reality. All right. Now, honestly, I put you on the spot. That was unfair. I put you in a situation where I said, hey, you have to make a decision and the options are limited, and life normally doesn't do that to us, but we often do that to ourselves by not being willing to take that third option of asking ourselves, do I have enough context? Do I have enough context to come to this conclusion? Okay. All right. So I've been referencing this ancient parable for as long as many of you have been connected with the work that we do. And it's called The Blind Man and the Elephant. And today I want to share it to you in full. Now, this is the remake of it, and this came from 1872. But it says, it was 6 men of Indostan to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, God bless me, the elephant is very like a wall. The second filling of the tusk cried, ho, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp. To me, it's mighty clear. This wonder of an elephant is very like a spear. The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, I hope it was a trunk, thus boldly up and spake, I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a snake. The fourth reached out his eager hand and felt about the knee. What most this wondrous beast is like is mighty plain, quoth he. 'Tis clear enough, the elephant is very like a tree. The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, e'en the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can, this marvel of an elephant is very like a fan. The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope, than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope. I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a rope. And so these men of Indostan disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right and all were in the wrong. So oft in theologic wars the disputants, I ween, rail on in utter ignorance of what each other mean, and prayed about an elephant not one of them has seen. Every perception a person has is based upon their own personal experience. It is based on what you're touching and what you've been touched by. But it's so important to remember that what you're touching and what you've been touched by may not be representative of the whole. You know what? I gotta platform this. This is the most hilarious part. The elephant was like, I see all you dumb mofos. You know, like, come on now. He just sitting there, just letting himself be molested like that. That's just so wrong. Like, we all out here molesting life. Am I going to get demonetized for saying this? Anyway, every perception a person has, every perception a person has is based upon their own personal experience. And you can't change that experience. You can't tell the person who's holding on to what feels like a rope that you're out of your mind. This is not a rope. This is a wall. They don't have an experience with a wall. They don't have an experience with something that feels like a wall. They have experience with something that feels like a rope or like a spear or like a fan. And that's where much of our conflict and our disagreements and our mishaps come in place. Oh, madness ensues. This is the multiverse, man. People perceive the world differently because no two people have the same experiences. This is a big ass elephant, y'all. Life is a big ass elephant. Listen, life is the elephant in the room. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. His name is reality. Her name, their name. There we go. Their name is reality. Got to be right. Okay. Experiences make us who we are. It shapes our minds and opinions, our likes and dislikes. This is why, like, when intervening in what is often labeled as at-risk cultures, at-risk youth, one of the best things that you can do is to expose them to something different. It's to give them new experiences. You can't give me a better idea that doesn't come with a better experience. You want me to change my mind, but you ain't even trying to change my life. This is the real wrestle that people are having with. These are the things that people are struggling with. These are the things that people are dealing with. You want me to experience what you're experiencing, but I'm on a different side of the elephant. It's difficult to have one ideal definition of certain concepts, even concepts like justice or virtue or an ideal society. I wrestle with that because, like, that's my work is community building. And it's not community building just for the sake of saying that I got people that come to my community. It's community building because my children have to inhabit this world. So it's not just community building that I'm interested in. It's world building. My children have to inhabit this world. And so I wrestle with what is an ideal society. And when you're willing to do that from a place of humility, you have to get off your high horse and realize that you're not qualified to determine what is ideal for everyone. This is one thing I challenge people in, regardless of where they land on their politics. Where do you pull your confidence to determine what is best for everybody, with you only occupying less than 1% of the planet? You barely know 80 people and you trying to speak for 8 billion. To me, that's repeating the harm of the past. Anytime we think somebody's limited perspective is good enough to know for all of us, we are headed towards a slippery slope back into the destruction that we came from. Damn, that wasn't in my notes, but I felt it, you know? Our experiences color our opinions of people different than ourselves, and even our opinion of the dark. Some people are afraid of the dark. Some people love the dark. Some people adapted to the dark. Some of us were born in the dark. Somebody catch that reference. I didn't do it quite right, but this is the multiverse of madness. I find it no coincidence that humility and human both begin with HUM. Like, humble yourself. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. I took the other word out, but you get what I'm saying. All right. So this brings us darkness. Some people forget that other people are even people. That is so true. So watch this. Here's our next point of this weekend. Your experience deserves recognition. That's the freebie that I'm giving you. Now, look, take a snapshot, screenshot, do whatever you got to do to keep this with you. And I mean this like your experience deserves recognition. My experience deserves recognition. Your children's experience deserves recognition. Watch this. The people you don't like, their experience deserves recognition. The people you disagree with, their experience deserves recognition. Like if you're willing to extend it to yourself, you got to be willing to extend it to others. Your experience, yes, it deserves recognition, but here's the part that I need your grown folks' ears to catch. But your interpretation remains open to examination. Mm-hmm. I told you I'm gonna say it again. I'm here with you. I hear you. Don't you be rushing me. Your interpretation remains open to examination. Your experience deserves recognition. We had this conversation in our trigger warning yesterday about conflict in community and really wrestling to determine what exactly is harm, because it's not as easy to define as people think it is. Your experience deserves recognition, but your interpretation remains open to examination. To make this really clear, let's get a definition for reality. Reality is the totality of existing entities. Thank you so much, Zernial. Reality is the totality of existing entities. It is the multiverse of our shared experience. That's what reality is. Like, I want to encourage you. Now, this is not a statement of physics. You'd have to talk to my son about that, who's going to the University of Alabama as a sophomore for his first year, and he's a triple major in physics, in math, and in data analytics. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to go there for a moment. You got to ask him about whether the physics are right on this. But reality is the totality of existing entities. In other words, reality ain't just your story. Reality is the whole story. Reality isn't just how you see it. Reality is everything that is. Reality includes other people, even the people you don't like. Reality is the multiverse of our shared existence, our shared experiences. Reality, let me humble you a little bit. Reality is bigger than your little solo adventure. Like, I know you got main character syndrome. I do too. I am the main character in my story. And until I'm like closer to 80, I will always be the main character in my story. I am. In my story and my headcanon, I am the whole damn, you know what I'm saying? You get it. Back in the day, it's WWF. Now it's WWE. That's me in my story. But I am not big enough to be the main character in reality. Perception is how things seem to be, while reality is how they in fact are. And so the question becomes, how can anyone know anything beyond their own perception? My experience deserves recognition, but my interpretation remains open to examination. And so how can I know that what I'm experiencing is a valid representation of reality? Well, see, this is where words like knowledge come into play. All right. Okay. Knowledge is an awareness or a familiarity that shapes how individuals understand and engage with reality. That's what knowledge is. It's not just something you know. But let's make it plain. It's an awareness or familiarity that shapes how individuals understand and engage with reality. It is a successful cognitive contact with reality. If you're a note taker, that's a good phrase. Successful cognitive. Am I having a successful cognitive contact with reality? I'm having a legitimate experience. I'm having an emotional reaction. So something has happened, but am I having a successful cognitive contact with reality? That's the question of knowledge. Okay? This is often associated with an accurate grasp of how things are and with having good reasons or justification for one's perspective. Philosophers discuss various sources of knowledge as ways of how this cognitive contact is established. And I promise you I'm going somewhere. It is perception, and these are not exhaustive. Again, we don't have any dogma here. We're not authoritarian. So nothing we present is like, hey, these are the 5 ways and there's nothing beyond this. These are not exhaustive. These are just the ones that I can find. Perception, introspection, reason, memory, and testimony. Okay? Perception relies on sensory organs to acquire empirical information about the world, including vision and hearing. This is where we all start at. We all start with our perception. Okay? So much so, like when you 5 years old and you walk across the bush that got the sticky leaves on it, and you get stabbed by that bush, your perception says bad bush. You know? And that's so funny, because I often try to remind, like, anybody that who's going to be in the work of building community, you have to learn how to draw the line between bad experience and bad person. Because everybody that rubs you the wrong way is not bad. Y'all ain't ready for this. It's just a bad experience. Perception relies on the sensory organs. It's getting information about the world through our senses. But we can't stop at perception. Another great place to move to is introspection. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, let me spend some time actually investigating myself. Introspection is an internal awareness of one's own mental states. What is my state of mind when I'm experiencing this? Well, I was in pain. I got stabbed by the sticky bush. There's a little bit of blood, and then you know how I get when I see blood. And so now I'm in pain and I'm seeing blood. All right. What does that mean about my own mental state at that moment? I ain't trying to say you crazy. Now, I ain't trying to say nothing like that, but I am just saying that maybe the pain and the sight of the blood might be clouding how I'm experiencing this. And this goes from being a bad experience to being a bad bush. All right. The next one is reason. Reason is the ability to draw logical inferences and arrive at truths independent of immediate sensory input. This is a step that many of us, as reasonable as we are, do not actually get to. We're lucky if we make it to introspection. Most of us stop at perception. And I want you to understand, like, your perception is absolutely valid. It is representative of the experience and how you experienced it. But it's not big enough to tell you what happened. And so you got to move to introspection and then reason, independent of how I felt about it, what actually happened. We just talking about how to navigate the multiverse today, okay? We navigating the multiverse, traveling through space and time on a surfboard, like the Silver Surfer, even though he doesn't surf like this. This is more like Beyonce, surfboard, NSFW. All right, next one, memory. Memory is the capacity to store information from other sources and make it available to cognitive processes when needed. And I know many of you are already like, hold on, now how could memory be helpful right here? Memory is a wonderful tool of humbling your ass. That's the best way I can say it. Memory, if you be honest with yourself, will humble your ass. All right. So you go through the perception, sticky bar. I'm in pain. I see a little blood. What the hell is going on? And then introspection, my mental state. Because I'm in pain, I might not be coming to the best conclusion about what is happening because I'm speaking through my pain. So let me knock on the door of reason and kind of separate the perception from it for a moment. But then, Darante, now you're talking about memory, and a great question to ask for memory is, how many times have I been wrong before? Oh, yeah, come on. Oh, no, let's go to. See, this is why Bridge City is 1,000 times better than any church than any religion, because we're going to have grown folks conversation up in here. We're going to have grown folks conversation. We often appeal to our memory to prove the things that we want to prove instead of appealing to our memory to remember how fragile we actually are. Now, you remember that time you were really convinced that Kiki was the one. The perception and everything was in there. No, memory. How many times have I been wrong before? How many times have I had this exact type of emotive response to something and still didn't have enough information to make that decision? Okay. Then here's another one. Testimony. Testimony, Darante? Yes. Testimony is a form. I'm not suggesting that any of these are reliable by themselves, but testimony is a form. Testimony is a transmission of knowledge from one person to another through communication. It's one that I use frequently. We mentioned it yesterday when we were in our trigger warning. And by the way, we do trigger warning every third Saturday of the month at 2 o'clock Central Time, 12 noon Pacific Time. What does the S stand for? Oh, standard. Okay. All right. I just had neurospicy moment. No. So if something happens and someone says, ooh, something bothered me, and it gets brought to me, I don't trust my own perspective to be big enough to know what to do. So instead, I get other testimony. Hey, what does this look like to you? People who are unwilling to do that scare me. Scare me. No single source guarantees accuracy. They don't. Not your perception, not your introspection, not your reason, not your memory. Ooh, not your reason. No single source verifies accuracy. Not one. Not one guarantees accuracy. They can check, they can reinforce, they can challenge, or they can correct one another. But so let's just call these the checks and balances of thinking. So you thought reason was all you needed. And we did a whole series on falling in love with reason, and it was wonderful, but you need a little bit more. A little bit more. These are the checks and balances of thinking. This makes knowledge less like possessing an unfiltered image of reality and more like developing increasingly reliable contact with it. It's reminding ourselves that, no, I didn't evolve to see this clearly. So I've actually got to do the extra work to see it. An unsuccessful cognitive contact with reality is typically defined as a cognitive state that fails to accurately represent or align with the actual state of the world. In philosophy and epistemology, this encompasses several specific concepts. First one is error and false belief. Many of us have been there, holding a belief that contradicts objective facts. Okay? Believing a guy raised from the dead and then anointed a bunny to go out there and have eggs for kids. That's probably a false belief, you know. I'm not going to yuck your yum, but I'm just saying, false belief. But false belief is not the only thing that trips us up with maintaining our cognitive contact with reality. There's also just good old-fashioned ignorance. Which is the complete absence of cognitive contact or information regarding a specific subject. Which, by the way, it's probably not a great thing to be trying to force somebody in a conversation on a subject that they're ignorant of. Because at best, you've just moved them over to another dogma to follow. See, we have to move from trying to convince people into educating people. I don't want to convince you. I don't want to persuade you. I want you to be as educated as you can. I want you to be as informed as you can. The next one is delusion, a fixed false belief that is resistant to reason and contradicted by reality. The next one is hallucination or illusions. which is a sensory or perceptual experience that does not correspond to any physical stimulus or objective reality. And then this last one, which I really like this last one now. I really like this last one. Epistemic justification failure. Now, this is the one, like, and I mentioned this. I said we were going to come to this when we were doing our little photos. And I said, like, this is something where a belief you hold might coincidentally happen to be true, but it was formed through an unreliable method or flawed reasoning. So someone got mad at me one time because I said a conspiracy theory can be true. I'm like, no, it can't. And I'm like, yeah, it can. What makes a conspiracy theory is not its truthiness or its falsiness. What makes a conspiracy theory is its lack of justification. Which means, no, a conspiracy theory could absolutely, there could be aliens right now running the White House. I have some jokes there. I'm going to leave it alone. There could be. But the epistemic justification to get to that conclusion is severely lacking. And epistemic justification failure is probably one of the most crippling things that we come across in humanity, because it is very easy to feel like we know better because we got something right, even though we didn't do the work to get it right. Let me take you back to 7th grade math, where that teacher said, okay, I see that you got the right answer, but baby, I'm going to need you to show me your work. No, show me the work. Show me how you got the answer. Because a broken clock is right twice a day. Show me how you got it. Because, and this is the difference between just trying to be right and trying to do right. I don't just want to have the right answer. I want to have the right process to getting the right answers. Like this is how theology messes with people's minds, because it convinces you that when you accidentally came to the right answer, that you earned it. And now you're out here walking around in some unearned confidence and can't figure out why you're making bad decisions in the rest of your life. Epistemic justification failure. All right. So knowing how the decks of perceiving reality are already stacked against us, how can we better examine our interpretations in order to navigate this multiverse of madness? I'm so glad you asked. I think it first begins with admitting that we all have blind spots and refusing to let clarity precede curiosity. Jalapeno. Refusing to let clarity precede curiosity. I'm not clear on anything that I haven't questioned. How are you so clear? Habanero. How are you so clear and you ain't questioned? Hell yeah. I love y'all, man. It's admitting that we all have blind spots. I could be wrong. I'm intelligent. I'm not omniscient. And listen, I don't say that because it's a nice quip. It is. It's a dope quip. I mean, bars, right? But I don't say that because it's a nice quip. I don't say that because it makes me bigger. I say that because it keeps me humble. And it keeps that pressure off my, get that weight off your shoulder. It takes that weight off my shoulder. Like when I was a pastor, a Christian pastor, I guess I still kind of am a pastor. I don't like the word pastor because a pastor is about shepherding, and I ain't shepherding no damn body. Okay. Shepherd is a cross species thing. You shepherd a species. No, we not shepherding no damn body. We all humans. But when I was a Christian pastor, there was always a lot of weight to know the answers to things. There's always a lot of weight to know exactly what's wrong and what's right. Anytime somebody's having a dispute, they're bringing it to you and they're giving you their limited context and they're telling you, now you make a decision. I don't even know y'all. There's a lot of weight. Get that weight off your shoulders. It's a lot of weight. I'm intelligent. I'm not omniscient. So I don't expect myself to know everything. I don't expect myself to have everybody's answers. I started telling people, listen, I will get in the ring and fight with you, but I'm not about to fight for you now. I'm not going to fight for you. Yes, immense pressure. So now people have, what do I do? Baby, I don't know. We can sit down and talk through some things. But now I no longer feel the pressure to have clarity where my curiosity hasn't existed. So that means slowing down to ask questions like, okay, anytime something happens, slowing down to ask questions like, what happened? What actually happened? Not what did I experience? What happened? What did I notice? What did I feel? What meaning did I assign to it? What assumptions did I make? And you can feel absolutely like confident about your assumptions. But when you ask that question, what assumptions did I make? Go back to thinking about the epistemic justification failure. The assumption that I made, was it supported? Like by anything other than my perception? What information might I be missing? Going again, talking about my sister, when the guy in front of her doesn't open the door or hold the door open for her, and in her mind, he's just being a jackass. But in order to jump to that assumption, there's so much information you'd have to know about that other person. You'd have to know that their eyes work just like your eyes work. You'd have to know that their culture taught the same thing your culture taught. The purpose is not to eliminate emotion or personal experience, it's to prevent the first interpretation produced by those influences from becoming unquestionable truth. Years ago, while an atheist, I decided to pastor a little Baptist church. They were looking for a pastor, and they called me, and I was like, interesting. And it was a little small Black Baptist church, old folk. And I was like, they're not really charismatic, not really Pentecostal, so I don't have to do a lot of the superstitious stuff. So maybe this would be a good fit. Maybe this is a way that I can still do community work. Maybe this is a way where I can still do things for the people that I love and still do the things that I love without having to cater back in. And so I did that for a while. And a very short while, I think it lasted like 3 months. Oh yeah, I move on quickly if y'all didn't know that about me. Call me the pull-out champion of the world. But so maybe about 3 months. And we were doing like rehearsal one night with the musicians and the singers. And one of the singers, for whatever reason, got it in her mind that the musician did not like her. Okay. So she's getting ready to sing a song. And the musician, he's just playing. He's looking down at his keys. He was a friend of mine at Asperger's. He rarely really looked at people unless he was like really into you. So he was just looking down his keys, playing a song. She's singing. She hits a note that she's uncomfortable with. The note doesn't sound that great. She looks over at him and says, he was laughing at me. Okay. Now, number one, I am one of those type of people. Right now, we too grown to be doing this now. This can't be your first time being laughed at. Like honestly, if you, and this is just me being me for a moment, forgive me if this triggers you. This is just me being me. I'll try my best not to preach, not to treat you like this. But honestly, if you too fragile not to handle being laughed at, I don't know how you gonna make it, player. I mean, I'm not gonna laugh at you. Now that I know, I'm not gonna laugh at you. But if you're an adult and someone laughs at you and it like cripples you so badly that you can't move forward, that's not a flex in life. There's like people who like you get cheated on and you got to kill somebody. That's not a flex. Someone steps on your shoes and you got to fight. That's not a flex. Something is wrong. This is a malfunction. There's an error in the programming. But There was nothing we could tell her. Everybody was there, like he wasn't even looking at you. No, he wasn't even looking at you. He wasn't even thinking about you. He's concentrating on making sure he get his stuff right. He probably think you laughing at him. And because of that, she never trusted him. Because of something that happened in her mind, because she allowed the first interpretation produced by her own perception and influences to become the unquestionable truth, which means nobody could present an alternative way of seeing it. Nobody could present new information. Nobody could put reason on the table because I know what I felt. I know what it felt like. Your experience is real as an experience, but it is it is nowhere near reliable as an indicator of truth. For that, you have to be willing to hear from the other blind people touching the elephant. Yes. I offend people all the time. I gotta watch. I try to only offend people that I'm close to. Everybody else, I just try to smile at. Oh no, you don't want to get me to talking because I'm crass. I am. I say words that hurt people's ears, apparently. And I was like this when I was a preacher. Like I got rid of one of my elders because when people were cussing, they started holding their ears. And I was just like, wait a minute. You taking this way too far. There's not one thing about that word that causes any physical pain to your ears. And I cannot have somebody on my team who is that immature. That's disgusting to me. At this moment, you're playing a role. And I could be wrong. That's my neurospicy. I could be wrong and I live with that. But I was like, hell no. I don't want nobody on my team when you hear somebody cuss, you're like, oh my God, my ears. No, get the fuck away from me. Bitch. Sorry. Couldn't help it. It came. I couldn't help it. All right. Let's get to our last point before I go full hood. Like the closer it gets to 2 o'clock, the more hood I become. So let's hit this last point. Nobody possesses a neutral perspective. Nobody. No, that pressure that people were putting on me as a pastor was like, well, no, he's the pastor, so he's gonna have a neutral perspective. Nope, I'm not gonna have a neutral perspective. One of y'all I'm gonna think is being petty, and the other one of y'all, I'm gonna think is not being grown. It's like, no, nobody possesses a neutral perspective, but we can still pursue more accurate understanding. I know that I don't have a neutral perspective. And that's one of the things that causes me to walk cautiously about the things that I engage in. Because I know my perspective is not neutral. I am impacted by my experiences. I absolutely am. That's why I say words that other people wouldn't say. Because I'm impacted by my experiences, not your experiences. One of my favorite quotes is, I am ribbed for my pleasure, not yours. Oh, this for me. Oh, you thought this was for you? No, I'm ribbed for my pleasure. So nobody possesses a neutral perspective. I got to pull another quote from Julian. And again, check out his channel at Party Wolf Media. Our eyes capture what our minds want to see. Can you be honest enough with that? Like the young lady in the example I just gave, she wanted someone else to be the problem so she didn't have to deal with the fact that she missed a note. Now, I've been singing since I was a baby, basically. And so missing a note don't bother me. I be missing notes confidently, all the time. Singing off key, flat, pitchy, all of it. All of it. But our eyes capture what our minds want to see. Your eyes are not independent of your experience. That's why your eyes can't always be trusted. They're not independent of your experiences. They're not independent of your biology. They're not independent of your trauma. They're not independent of your triggers. Listen to me, those people who have had to survive some of the worst trauma in the world. Listen to me. Listen to me. I know you're carrying a lot and it hurts. But baby, if you don't get healed, you're going to start seeing trauma everywhere, even where it does not exist. This is why we do things differently at Bridge City. Because my goal is not to circle around your wound and keep you trapped in your trauma. Our goal is to help people connect better so they can build better, so that they can live better. But that requires sitting with the honesty of who we are and our limitations. Because we have them. We have them. Our eyes capture what our minds want to see. The mind constructs experience, but it's not free to invent reality without consequence. What we believe shapes how we respond, but reality still pushes back when our perceptions are incomplete, distorted, or just flat out wrong. I realized for a long time, many things in my life weren't going the way that I thought they should be going because I was fighting against reality. I was treating the world like I thought it should operate. And I'm very careful with that word should today because I realized that my should came from my attachment to superstition. The world should work this way because there's a creator with a design and a plan. But the absence of a creator and a design and a plan, there is no should, there's an is. So Darante had to learn how to start navigating according to what the world is. Because reality is not going to honor my shoulds. Which means that we have to actually be committed to doing the hard work of understanding our own limitations, our biases, and experiences, and how they impact our perspective to better navigate. We can't just keep assuming that how we experience it is how it is. You know, you see somebody in a crowd cough, and maybe the person who coughs in a crowd is Black, and the person in front of them is white. And the white person, when the Black person coughs, says, "Oh no." As a Black man, I may initially experience that as a sign of racism. I may. But I don't have enough information to make that leap. I don't know if that person is a germaphobe. I haven't seen how that person would respond if a Chinese person was coughing on their neck. You know what I'm saying? I don't have enough information. I have to understand that how I experience it is not telling me as much about reality as it is telling me about me. And this is what I often remind people about their emotions, is that your emotions, man, your emotions are good because they tell you so much about you. But they're not great in telling you about others. If they were, everybody you loved would have loved you back. I am preaching better than y'all are responding. No, your emotions, baby, they tell you about you. You can hate Darante all you want to, but your hate don't tell you nothing about me. Watch this. You can love Darante as much as you want to, but your love for me still don't tell you nothing about me. It just tells you that you like Black bald-headed guys with scraggly beards and an eye that floats off every now and then, and glasses too big for his face. You know? Oh, man. We just can't keep assuming that how we experience it is how it is. We have to embrace that we are living in the multiverse of madness. This has gotten us this far. Yes. Yes. It has been a powerful mechanism for our survival in a vast wilderness of uncertainty in the absence of a cooperative coexistence. This makes perfect sense when we were siloed in our isolated tribal settlements separated by hillsides and Great Lakes. It made perfect sense when we were so sparsely scattered that you could travel for days, weeks, and months without ever coming in contact with someone who wasn't shaped how you were shaped. But those days are behind us. You don't live in a world where everybody just has bananas. You got some plantains to deal with now. When West Africans come to the United States and begin to intermingle with African Americans over cuisine, there's this one meal item that can cause some problems. It's called yams. Anybody know about yams? Oh, I love yams. The problem is, in the United States, we call sweet potatoes yams. But in Africa, yams are a different, slightly related product. And so you invite your West African friend over, your friend from Nigeria, Toby Nwigwe. I would love Toby to come hang out with me one day. I know he's still religious, but he makes good music. And you say, we having yams? And he's like, oh man, I ain't had yams in so long. And you come over and you try to feed him that mushy sweet stuff. Like, no, what is this? Yeah, there was a time in your life where everybody you met, or was a time in our development as a species where if you grew up on yams, everybody you met, we're going to know the exact same thing. When you said yams, oh yeah, you talking about those. But those days are behind us. They're behind us. We are closer than we've ever been as a species, and yet still creating distance where there is none. We are literally living on top of each other and still not allowing our perspectives to be informed by each other. Recognizing someone else's mental world can create empathy without requiring you to abandon your own judgment. I get you, but I'm not you. Like, imagining something from somebody else's point of view doesn't mean you have to adopt their worldview. Being empathetic to how somebody could have come to a different view than you do doesn't mean you have to adopt their worldview. Understanding how someone else sees the world is not the same as agreeing with everything they believe about it. You have to be wise enough, and this is technically another Julian via Dave. It's Dave Chappelle via Julian. You have to be wise enough to know when you're living in your dreams, and humble enough to know when you're living in someone else's. Understanding how our own perception is shaped by our lived experiences should expose us to the sobering reality that we are not exceptional in that sense. Every person who we are sharing reality with is wrestling with the very same struggle to escape the madness and get a better view. Those who weep and those who rage, those who do well and those who do harm. There are those who have convinced themselves that for whatever reason, destruction is the only path forward. And I'm telling you that if we have any chances of progress, if we have any chances of making it further than we've already made it, then we're going to have to learn how to be empathetic to that, even that. Not to the conclusion, but to the shaping that led them there. This was the ultimate plot of the award-winning movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. I told you we were going to the multiverse today. In the movie, Jobu Tupaki is the nihilistic, sassy daughter of Alpha Evelyn Wang. After being pushed too far by her parents in the Alphaverse, her mind was fractured across all realities of the multiverse, making her a powerful, omniversal being bent on causing chaos and later trying to destroy herself with the Everything Bagel. Why it's a bagel, I don't know. But in the climax, Evelyn confronts Jobu at the edge of the bagel's black hole. That just sounds like some sexual innuendo. I just had to say it. But instead of destroying the multiverse, Evelyn actively chooses to embrace her family's flaws. Oh. To accept her daughter for exactly who she is and find meaning in the ordinary, difficult parts of shared reality. This act of radical love pulls joy back from the brink of absolute despair, allowing mother and daughter to heal their generational trauma. I think that this is a beautiful message for humanity because it's not just a story of mother and daughter in conflict. It's a story of what we do to each other when we try to force each other's to fit in our head canon in utter disregard of their own. When we try to force others to fit in our head canon in utter disregard of their own. We're living in a multiverse of madness, and the madness is not simply that people see things differently. It's that each of us can be trapped inside one rendering of the world while forgetting that it is a rendering, and then mistake everyone outside of it for irrational, dishonest, dangerous, or blind. And the reality is, we all have blind spots. And as real as our experiences feel to us, they feel to those we disagree with. And so I don't think the way forward is forcing our preferred headcanons on others. I think it's finally learning how to share authorship in a story that is much larger than all of us. To quote another favorite movie of mine, you mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. And that's how communities are born. When people are not neighbors because they share the same belief or go to the same church. We're not neighbors because we come from the same family or share the same values. We're not neighbors because we enjoy the same activities or love the same foods. We're neighbors because we're here, because we share the same space at the same time. And this is where our stories intersect and find coexistence. And that's what Bridge City is building. A community, a place where our stories, our multiverses can safely coexist in intentional collaboration towards creating something better. Our mission is simple. We're intentionally looking for ways to connect better, build better, and live better. And not better than, watch this, but better for. I'm not trying to be better than my enemies. I'm trying to be better for my enemies. I'm not trying to be better than competition. I'm trying to be better for the competition. I'm not trying to be better than those who need what we do. We're trying to be better for those who need what we do. This is the work. Thank you so much for being a part of today's session. Now, if you're looking for community that meets regularly and connects on purpose, I encourage you to join Bridge City today. And then if you want to kind of like test drive the community before you actually make the commitment to join, then why don't you join us for coffee hour right after this session? As soon as the last video is played and the fat lady has sung, I said I was going to stop making fat jokes. I used to be fat. That's why I say stuff like that. But the fat lady has sung, and I'm a millennial, so it was very popular during the millennium. So after the last video is played and the fat lady is sung, come join us over on the global campus, meet some of the people on our team, meet some of our other members, and let's have a conversation about today's conversation. Let's actually talk in a comfortable, casual environment and see if this community is something that you can get some value from. Again, thank you so much for your time, and we'll be looking forward to hanging out with you on the global campus. Until next time, keep rising. We're going to bring up our host now to close out today's show.
Darante and everyone, and good morning, Jude.
Good morning. That was a great session.
I know I say this every time, but I really am excited about this one. I feel like it's probably going to be my favorite one. I think I say that every session. I think I do. But
I love the reciprocity series, the NSFW series. Like, I mean, we've got some really good topics going on. It's really, really fantastic.
but headcanon allows me to wear my cape. I mean, come on. I'm going to bring that out. Now, you guys have already seen what our clubs are doing if you caught the intro. So if you get a chance to join our campus, you can be part of a great projects like you see with the Bridge Builders song, as well as our newest edition. You guys heard me talking about this, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Time flies. But you guys talked about coffee hours that came up. It's a thing now. So please,
it's a thing now.
Right? So please join us on the campus after the stream ends. Not now. Give it a moment. But after the stream ends, to continue this discussion. I'm actually really excited about this. So again,
yeah, this will be fun.
Right? If these conversations help you find language to talk about these things, if you're looking for a post-religious community, and remember, we're trying to build something that's safe, sound, soft, and secure. Come on in. We're all trying to think honestly here without shame and find a place to connect, build, and live better.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's honestly, that's what we're all about. Like, you know, we have I'm looking forward to the coffee hour personally, because like getting a chance to like sit down, discuss things, talk things out after it. It makes, and it also gives you a kind of a touch point to kind of get to know people in the community. I mean, you mentioned the Bridge Builders project we've got going on. If anybody is interested in participating in that, that's going to be actually an ongoing project for a little while, just because we've had so much interest in it. So it's going to go well. It's going to expand well past the Sunday sessions for this month. So I'm pretty stoked about where that's going to go.
Oh, someone was asking, when does the cartoon come out? I feel like it was Captain, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I was just like, are we going to do a cartoon? Like, is this going to happen?
I mean, like my brain has been conjuring images of like graphic novels and stuff. So I mean, like, we'll see. We're gonna see how far this goes, because like we've got some really talented people who are interested in developing this idea.
And what you guys have done in this last month has been amazing. I'm excited to see more of it. And that kind of brings me to, with everything we're doing, it always takes support. Now, support can look in a lot of ways, but in order to give support, we need support. So as always, we have Giving Tuesdays, the second Tuesday of the month, and we invite your generosity. It's not about guilting anyone. We've talked about this before. This is really about supporting the mission and being able to have resources to grow and keep building these bridges that allow us to do not only great projects, but good, create connection, and keep our community accessible and sustainable, and being able to continue to scale and grow as we continue this worldwide community that we're building.
Yeah, and we have a lot of ideas and visions for like where we want Bridge City to grow. When we're starting small, we want to encourage people to set up local watch parties.
Yes.
Create local meetups, community events. But overall, we want to kind of encourage people to move from isolation into association, because we want to create a place where it's not only encouraged, but safe for people to kind of break out, or people who have been sucked into these kind of echo chambers a little bit, to kind of poke their heads out and see what else is out there, see what else other people in it, in an area where they're not going to be shamed for having a different opinion.
And that's actually something I would say that I feel like we do really well here at Bridge City, is we are not all going to think one-to-one on the same. You know, we're not all saying come here for some religious reward or supernatural cohesion. Like, realistically, it's us all being humans and finding things to connect on. And there's be some things we disagree on. But that is the beauty of the community, is that you can have your beliefs challenged in a respectful way and actually think and explore diverse perspectives, explore where, well, I'll get to the questions in a moment, but where you may have gaps in your knowledge base kind of thing. So really, if you can support the community, if you can show up, if you can give, if we all touch the elephant, we'll get this figured out, you guys. We will know. We're going to bastardize the saying that Darante says, I know. But no, I just support where you can and help us build.
Also, we've got coffee hours. So like make sure we want to keep the conversation going. Like we're having these conversations because we want to help give people more language, more access to interrogate and improve their own lives. Right. We want and the part of improving your life, again, moving from isolation to association, is getting to know other people who are on the same journey. Right. And that's what I like to think of it, is we're all a whole bunch of different people moving towards together in the same direction, because we've all figured out that this direction is probably the good way to go. Right. And so we've got coffee hour coming right up afterward. We wanted to use the utilize, like, share the replay. Of course, don't keep the conversation to yourselves, right? A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches, which is why we're bridge builders.
Exactly. I love do the bridge building. And I will say
that's Lindsay's whole thing.
It's beautiful. And I will say there's a piece of it for me too that's a little selfish. Like, I really value personal growth and exploration of other ideas. And as a person, you can only have so many ideas in here. So being able to connect with people at Bridge today who've walked totally different walks of life for me has always been so gratifying to, like, try to understand these diverse perspectives, and people show up genuinely and actively and want to engage and share their stories. And it's just so much that we gain and grow from each other. So again, as you'd said, please share the replay and come to our coffee hour right now. And we hope to honestly see you all there. Thank you for being present. I really do hope if you were thinking about checking out the campus and you were needing that push, I hope you use today to come to our first ever coffee hour for our first ever headcanon series. And we can explore these in more depth, and we can kind of have this chance to actively connect after the stream's over. So again, thank you, visitors, and I do hope to see you.
And if you're the type of person who processes through creativity, you could jump on board the Bridge Builders project. Like we could do character models. We could do we need to, solidify like the setting and the places. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful.
The production club, the art club.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyping it up because I'm hyped.
And I will say, like, everyone, just because this is Jude's baby, so and there's a lot of people that worked on this. I definitely don't want to discount them, but Jude, literally, thank you. This was awesome. Putting this. I
was just the seed planter, right? I was just the seed planter. We came up with the lyrics for the song. I thought it was so much fun. I just wanted to throw it out and see who else would be interested in contributing. And the art club, the head of our art club is awesome. She picked it up and ran with it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. That's why I joined Bridge City. That's why I started lurking in the music club, is because I wanted to find people to collaborate with. And I'm happy to have found that here. And it's just a lot of people who are really, really enthusiastic about creating, which is awesome.
Well, and so I will say to our members, like we've talked about, like, you've heard Jude, you've heard our director of social arts kind of chime in on all the amazing things you guys are doing. So just thank you. And
come on over. Join us.
Guys, seriously, if you're thinking about throwing it, Pete, there are a lot of different ways to support. I am not as creative as dear Jude here, but I do enjoy getting in on some of these like creative sessions, but I also like supporting people. So there's a lot of ways to engage with the campus, to join ongoing conversations, and help what's happening build behind the scenes. So definitely get on the campus if you're interested in forward thinking, people centric, and life affirming. Oh my God.
Affirming.
We got to do the bridge
fast
builders.
Forward, whimsy, and affirmaman.
There's been a whole debate about what name to put for affirmaman. This is where we have landed, but that was very awesome.
Just to apply that to headcanon, right? We want to be forward thinking enough to question our biases, question the gaps in our knowledge. We want to be people centric enough to understand that other people have their own version of reality. Actually, one of our community members, Party Wolf, just did a video about the just to shout him out because he's been an awesome contributor lately as well. He did a really great video on the way that everybody has their own reality, everybody has their own perception. We're all living in a multiverse. And you want to be life
on the campus.
Yeah, and you want to be life affirming enough to accept that people will act and make decisions based on what they believe to be the reality, right? And there may be conflict, but you got to understand the humanity behind it if you ever want to resolve the conflict in any kind of sustainable way.
And I think so much of this is about what we're trying to do is not only our personal growth, but growth as people, as how we connect. One thing I think when we say we're connecting better, it really is about getting away from the performative nature that a lot of places in society kind of put you into. So again, if you're thinking about joining the campus, I really hope you all join us now for the coffee hour. That'll be ending. And also just a quick reminder too, once the stream ends, don't forget to do the YouTube things, like the stream, leave a comment, hype it up if that is an option. I never know when that comes up. But then
I still haven't figured that.
If you see it, please do it. But then after you do it, let's go get over onto the global campus. Let's do the coffee hour. And until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
Be the bridge.
Thank
you. In a world full of irrational thinking and echo chambers, only the bridge builders can save the day, bringing us back to a shared reality based on truth and connection. Meet Fast Forward, bringing the future now. Meet Whimsy, fluttering to make new connections. And meet Affirmaman. Wait, is this really this guy's name? Really? Well, all right. Meet Affirmaman, doing whatever it is Affirmaman does. Together, they are the Bridge Builders.
Story, look to the bridge builders, where Dogmatron hides. Bridge builders fight.